Could you introduce yourself and tell us about your professional background in psychology?
um, my name is Anna. I am originally from Austria, but I joined the first cohort of the EA training here in the UK. So that was 2019. I do not have a background in psychology, but I did the training in psychotherapy here with Alfred, and later on I began to study medicine, which I'm currently also pursuing. So in the future I strive to combine medicine with psychotherapy in my profession.
What inspired you interests in existential psychology and psychotherapy? What was inspiration? Why you went there?
I do have an interest in philosophy, especially existential philosophy. So that is definitely something that drew me to existential psychotherapy as well. And at the same time, I do like, I do have a special interest in humanistic psychotherapies, which existential psychotherapy is also part of. Yeah, so I would say those two are the main reasons that drew me to the program, and then also just how the person is being viewed. Yeah, I like the phenomenological lens that comes with it.
Can you highlight specific elements that particularly made it easier to understand existential psychotherapy, psychology, existential approach?
I think if I had to boil it down in a very simple way, I would just do it in a very literal attempt, which is existential analysis. So it is an existential approach to our life. We look at our life. We look at our life investigating for meaning, if there is meaning, and so existential analysis basically says that the human being needs. Oh, this is difficult. I'm going to do this again. Okay, let me think. How can I explain existential analysis in easy terms?
So probably I could paraphrase this. Can you highlight the specific elements? So what was the most important in this approach for you?
Mm-hmm.
Why? I'm trying to ask the same questions, but from different angles. Probably we could find more more material for this. So for you, it was why it is for you is personally is important for choosing this method. So this is good about meaning and so on, because this is something very familiar for everyone.
Should I just continue?
Yes.
Okay. So what I particularly like about existential analysis is the focus on meaning. I found that very helpful also in my self-experience, and I can also see how the program has truly shaped the course of my life. I find so much more meaning in my life now compared to 4 years ago when I started the training. And I see that not only in my profession or in academics, I also see it in the way I live my relationships, in the relationship I have with myself, and also just in how I view life. And I live each day in a much more conscious way, I would say. And I also have a very strong interest in making my life my own.
And can you share some examples how this course have been applicable in your professional practice? Maybe probably next profession as a psychiatrist, as a medicine. How could you apply this approach in your work, future work, for example?
Yeah, I think I would say I see it both professionally but also personally. So I had a clinical internship last year, for instance, where I was working at a hospital in the psychiatry ward, where I also had contact with patients. And there I was also able to make first-hand use with the approach of EA. But then also personally, I just noticed that it has really shaped it has shaped the way I see humans, and in how I create interactions with those around me. Yeah.
Would you recommend this course to fellow professionals? If so, why?
Yeah.
And not only training and maybe other programs with Alfred and so any programs, probably even course for depression and anxiety or burnout and the other parts.
I would definitely recommend learning about EA. There's so many different ways of adding a tiny bit of EA in our daily lives. Existential analysis.
Yeah.
Okay. I can definitely recommend learning more about existential analysis. There's so many different ways to do that, be it the training, be it one of the courses or workshops. There's also a course on depression now and anxiety. I believe it is for me, it was a life-changing experience, and I know it from other colleagues of mine that it was a life-changing experience for them too. And I believe it adds so much value on different levels. I can absolutely recommend it. I feel like it's it's both simple and complex, and we can create that to our liking and integrate it in our lives.
And what about work? How could we integrate it? What do you think about how people could integrate in their work? Not necessarily psychologists or psychotherapists, but people who work with people who are in helping professions. So, what do you think?
I believe existential analysis is applicable to any profession because it shapes the interactions of people, and interactions are present in every profession, I would say, in every part of life. So it really helps mediate conversations. It helps understand the other better. It helps in so many different ways, I find. So I would say it doesn't exclude any profession or area of life, and it's just a very easy and important tool that we can add to our skill set.
Yeah, could you maybe remember some particular tools, for example, dialogue and for motivations, or something? Do you remember something? I don't know. some tools that you apply, or you could recommend to apply, and specific as an extension method. So we have some theory about meaning, of course, but also about all these motivations and understanding, or specific understanding of depression and other aspects of life. Probably you could remember something that you...
I think one key takeaway for me. I believe one key takeaway for me of existential analysis is that saying no is also a yes. That one was particularly important for me because I live life very enthusiastically, and I say yes to a lot. I want to explore and experience a lot. And for me, it was an important experience to also see that limiting my yeses also helps me live those yeses in a more deep and profound way. I would say that is my key takeaway from existential analysis.
Yeah, good. That's it.